everybody, welcome to Wrestle Party with myself, Big Chris, and the one and only.
Sorry. I thought you were going to say my name. Jamie Moon.
I'm not even going to cut that. That's
We've made too many already.
this is our second attempt at starting the show on a level head.
Yeah. How do you think it's going so far?
It's going well.
I mean, it's going better than a certain event that we'll talk about later on in this episode.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Because, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a little bit of a retrospective of a certain wrestler.
I'm glad you said that word because that is the word I was going to use to title the podcast. I was going to call it Sting, a retrospective.
Oh, there we go.
So
Great.
I'm glad you said that word because that's exactly... We're on the same page here.
Great minds think alike.
100%.
That's right, everyone. We're not just going to be talking about any wrestler. We're not even going to be talking about a legend here. We're going to be talking about the icon, Sting, on the eve of his retirement.
Yes.
As of this recording.
Yes. So,
What a career.
What a fucking career this guy has had. I mean, let's face, like, he's my favorite. He's my favorite of all time. Like, he's the one that I remember seeing. I remember tuning into WCW on Channel 5 when I was like maybe
we must have been like 8 or something at this point.
Must have been about 8, if not younger. And I just remember being like, whoa, who the fuck is this guy?
He was actually the first wrestler I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah, we will be going through this. So if I'll just say it now, do you remember it was towards the end of his WCW run against Vampiro. And I remember there was it was first blood match in Vampiro. He comes out looking like this Drake with face paint on and whatever. And I was kind of like, the fuck's this pish? As an 8-year-old would think.
That's exactly what was going through your mind. What the fuck's this pish?
Exactly. But then all of a sudden, Metallica starts playing, and this guy with a trench coat and looking like the Crow comes flying down through the rafters like a pure superhero, and I was like, this is amazing.
This is the
by
coolest
the way.
thing ever.
Yeah, and that's what hooked me into the S1 ever since.
And it's good. I mean, this was one of the first things we put on when we were talking about what kind of episodes we wanted to do. One of the ones we definitely put up there was Sting, and it just feels like the right time to do it now with him retiring soon and all the feelings that brings.
It's been a weird career because, in fact, not even a weird career. It's been a very, how can I explain this well? Full. There's been a lot of high moments for him. There's been some low moments, and there's just been some downright weird moments in his career. He will definitely go down as one of the all-time iconic wrestlers.
Yeah.
Like when you think of wrestling, you think of the Hulk Hogan's and all these people. Sting, I think, is definitely up there with him.
I was on Reddit recently, and someone was saying about who your Mount Rushmore of wrestlers would be, and almost everybody was saying Sting, but then other people were like, yeah, it would be Sting, Austin, The Rock, and Taker or something.
Well, that just goes to show this. Well, I guess say that he's crafted for himself in this wacky business. It's
I think the best thing for me, the best thing about it was that he never actually went to WWE. I mean, apart from the time where he did go to WWE, and it was
the less said about that, the better.
It was sadly cut short. But I mean, we will get to that, I think. But basically the fact that he was able to do that, he transcended past that. He became, when you think about it, one of the biggest kind of non-WWE wrestlers ever, and still is, just because of that mystique and because he never went at the time. He always done things a bit differently. He always stayed loyal. He went to TNA and he stayed super loyal. He done all these things and he kind of done it in his own way, and it just made him that wee bit more unique to everybody else. Usually everybody had that certain arc that they took where they eventually ended up there, and that's where they kind of done some of their best work, but he never.
I think the best way we can describe this kind of arc right now is if we start from the beginning and then we can work our way towards it.
Definitely, let's kick it off from the very day dot.
So doing research about Sting, it's weird because he never actually was like a wrestling fan growing up.
Yeah, I remember hearing about this a while ago.
It was never like available to him on TV, and I don't think his family like took him to any events. What he spent his time growing up doing was like being a high school athlete, so mainly football and basketball. Done incredibly well for himself then, and then afterwards he became a full-blown bodybuilder. Now, here's the thing about this kind of beginning that makes it interesting for me. Us wrestling fans were pretty fickle nowadays. The thought of like a rookie coming in today who's never been a fan of wrestling and is a bodybuilder, that
Man,
just
people would go
like
fucking crazy. That's like Ryback material. People would be like, "What the fuck, man? This guy's pure fucking." Well, don't you fucking like it, man?
Hey, has he ever been to ROH?
Fucking name 3 Japanese wrestlers, man. Name fucking 3 Japanese wrestlers, man. Fuck, guys. What the fuck? You're right. You're so right. Because back then, well, who knows? Maybe there was some fucking purists back then, but I think purists are a more new type thing. Like, the amount that we love wrestling and how into it we go. I don't know. Maybe I'm disrespecting people from back then, but I don't think there was that many of people like us, like people that were, I was going to say smart marks here, but I mean I don't know if you want to fucking call ourselves that, but
I mean we pretty much are, to be
we
honest.
Are,
we pretend we're not.
Yeah, that's true. But no, but I mean like. I don't know. It's hard to tell because we don't have any fucking. There's people weren't doing podcasts in it, so it's hard to tell if there were fans like that out there. I'm sure there probably was. I'm sure there was people sitting in their living rooms being like legit into it and like really fucking loving it, and probably could have been critiquing the fact that he wasn't into wrestling before it. But hey ho.
Well, it's funny because like this is during a time when I suppose the whole kayfabe thing was still alive and well, where people weren't sure if it was real or not. So I think that also worked in his favour. And it's like if you were to just look at him in the street, you would think, yeah, this guy's a wrestler. Like you wouldn't have to second guess yourself. But turns out that you had to because like he never really got into wrestling until he got picked up. But during his bodybuilding career, he co-owned a Gold's Gym in San Fernando Valley where a certain Hulk Hogan trained sometimes.
Oh, really?
Which I think is interesting because, like, from that point, even though he wasn't into wrestling, he was on a periphery of it.
Yeah, he had kind of access to guys that were doing it, and he kind of seen them and maybe could fucking see similarities in himself to them.
Well, speaking of that, so not only did Hulk Hogan show up, a certain Rick Bassman arrived in the gym with 3 wrestlers a couple of times, and what they would do is they were looking to recruit one more member for their group, known as Power Team USA.
Yep.
Sting, obviously, by this point, still wasn't interested in wrestling, so Bassman convinced Sting to go to a wrestling event. Hulk Hogan, like all the big stars were there, and he was like, yeah, I want to do this. So him and a Jim Hellwig, also known as the Ultimate Warrior.
The Dingo Warrior.
Rest in piss. They would join Jerry Jarrett's promotion as a tag team.
Yep.
And it was kind of, it's funny because like Ultimate Warrior kind of superseded Sting at the time, where he got called up to WWE and Sting was still kind of crafting, like doing the grinds kind of thing, getting his name out kind of stuff. Which kind of goes to show that wrestling can sometimes be a long game because like, I don't care about disrespecting Ultimate Warrior, but you compare the legacy between the two, and I think a lot of people will look at Sting's a lot more favourably than Jim Hellwig's.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, sometimes that long game does favour people, but not enough people do it anymore. And when you look at, when it comes to all things, not enough professionals or artists in their craft kind of tend to play that longer game. A lot of them take the quick jump up the ladder, or they'll take the quick big major pay rise and go and sign with a major label or go and sign with a big company and stuff like that, whereas sometimes the best at what they do have played this longer, slower, kind of more patient, more kind of less travelled route, shall I say.
It's funny because like, I think it's because obviously like the people that really do care about their craft, the main difficulty with that is when you're playing a long game is, and it happened with Sting here, is that money doesn't really come often. In fact, in my notes here, he was sleeping in his car at some point. He was in a lot of debt with people as well. And honestly, it actually does remind me of Darby Allin, his current tag team partner. He was in his car a couple years before AEW. And it's funny because, like, see, when they first got put as a tag team, I thought, well, just because they have face paint, that's what they have in common. But looking back at this, and it's kind of like you can kind of see where Sting becoming a mentor to Darby makes a lot more sense from a personal standpoint as well.
Yeah, they share a lot of similarities.
Yeah, especially the blonde hair, which he would don for Surfer Sting. At this point in his career, he was touted as a future star, mainly because of his popularity with children, and that's because of his bright and colourful makeup and attire.
Yep.
Which is a winning combination with the physique that he had as a bodybuilder as well. He was kind of pinned as like a future main eventer from that point on, which then got him in the sights of the Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Woo!
They had a bit of a back and forth rivalry where they wrestled for like an hour sometimes, an hour draw. And
I need to see. I've never went back and actually watched one of these classic Rick and Sting matches where it is like an hour draw. I don't know what the fuck they would be, but I'd like to see one of them.
You can find the Clash of Champions one on Dailymotion. It is quite a slog, and it is not because it's bad wrestling, it's because it's an hour.
Yeah, it's like a... Don't get me wrong, I mean, I was really entertained. Was it MJF and Daniel Bryan that went for fucking...
Oh, my match of the year last year.
Brian Danielson, sorry. Is it Brian Danielson? Daniel Bryan?
Either or, like, it's... whatever.
Brian Danielson.
Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't really care.
But that, for being an hour long, was fucking great and match of the year for us. But, I mean, yeah, it would be interesting to see how an hour-long match looks from back then.
In an old school style.
In an old school setting, and how their pacing was back then and all that.
Yeah, and it's funny as well because like during this rivalry, like the whole idea was that Sting, he's a underdog, he's going the distance against the dastardly Ric Flair, but he's never getting it. And this was culminating moments where he got locked in a cage on one show by the Four Horsemen, and who do you think came out to save him out of everyone?
I know. I've seen this.
RoboCop
came out. I mean, what the fuck was going on there? I mean, they obviously had some sort of deal.
Yeah, like definitely.
Universal or whoever the fuck was behind that. But I mean, who was in the RoboCop costume? That's what I want to fucking know.
I don't know, but he played a pretty convincing robot.
What happened? Did he come out and fucking hit anybody or?
He came out and like the Four Horsemen went, oh my god, that's RoboCop, and they ran away. And then he just like rips the cage open.
I'm telling you what, I'm glad it wasn't the fucking what's the other fucking RoboCop? What's the other
Terminator?
Not Terminator. It's like RoboCop 2 or something. You know, the big fucking thing that they unveil in the boardroom.
The big fridge.
Thank fuck it wasn't that, because that thing that legit scared me when I was younger. Like, you think RoboCop wasn't that scary because he was a good guy. He was kind of like, oh, RoboCop.
It's fucking terrifying,
That
like the body horror and everything.
Fucking terrifying, man.
Do you remember the scene where they tested the prototypes and like one of them just like rips their own face off?
We should watch that again soon.
Oh, we should get.
We need to watch that again. Aye, 100%.
And it's like maybe we should just. That's going to be the future, to be honest. I think robot wrestling. I know we had like Robot Wars, but that was like fucking people putting buzzsaws on their toasters and whatever. I mean,
we're
like
gonna have like legit like, aye,
RoboCop versus the Terminator and shit. Like
people actually build them.
Yeah,
and they've got like AI engines in them or something, and they can
just like go to war, and then Sting can come out of retirement and like manage one of them.
Fucking hell.
Anyway, the good thing is his rivalry with Ric Flair had him win his first World Championship at the Great American Bash 1989, which is 4 years after his debut.
Wow, so he's fucking World Champion 4 years after.
It just kind of shows
pretty
because at the time, like when he was the documentary I watched where he was talking about how he was sleeping in his car and everything, he said himself that he was thinking about quitting. And look at where he was later on. So it just goes to show people like sometimes you hit like a snag or a bump, maybe you fall out of favour, but if you just stick with it and keep the grinds going, you get rewarded for it. Afterwards, he would go on a tour in Japan where his legendary rivalry with the Great Muta would start.
Yep.
Over the NWA Television Championship, I might add. And it's funny because like the title was actually vacant most of the rivalry.
Oof.
It was kind of like it was a bit like the Sting and Flair thing where it was kind of going to a draw and stuff, and they were trying to one up each other. And obviously this rivalry would go further into his career with WCW, and even the Great Muta himself would appear on AEW.
Yeah, I remember seeing that recently. I didn't actually watch the segment, but I seen it.
Oh,
was it good?
It was a good segment, but there was a near botch.
Oh, really? Something bad?
So this was during the rivalry with the House of Black, which had Julia Hart, obviously, with her Stevie Nicks kind of get-up going. She was on the apron. Buddy Matthews was in the ring against Great Muta. Great Muta went to spray Buddy Matthews. He ducks, and like it was Julia Hart that took it.
Yep.
She falls through a table, but her head misses like the guardrail by like an inch. Oof. It was honestly, for as good as the moment was, it was terrifying. But thank Christ, like she was okay.
Imagine Great Muta killed Julia Hart.
That would be like. I think that would live up to his gimmick, to be honest.
Yeah.
That would just add to his mystique.
Same old Muta.
Good old Muta. But after his rivalry with the Great Muta, he would go on to beat Lex Luger for the WCW World Championship at Super Brawl 1992. As champion, Sting would enter a rivalry with Vader. Big
Van Vader.
I don't like Vader.
You like Vader? The guy used to do fucking moonsaults and that from the fucking top rope.
See, from the amount of botches I've seen him in, where he's throwing off with people and he injures him, and in fact he injured Sting during this rivalry, where he cracked 3 of his ribs. He broke 3 of Sting's ribs and ruptured his spleen in a match. Thankfully, Sting was able to finish the match, but ultimately Vader would win the title in the end. But that's always kind of been a thing. I mean, Vader fucking injured himself with the eyeball.
The eyeball?
Do you remember that Botchamania clip where he's in Japan, he like runs into the guy in the corner and his like eye comes out of its socket?
Oh my god, no.
You've never seen this?
I've not seen that.
It is fucking minging, by the way. It is the absolute worst.
Wait, Vader's eye came out or the other guy?
Vader.
Oh.
He injured himself in a like running splash.
How long is it? Let's see it.
You want to see it?
You need to show. Yeah, we can't let this pass us by. I want to see a fucking eyeball.
Right. Okay. So this was in Japan, I believe. Sorry, folks. I'm gonna just.
Oh, I just nearly fucking. This mic nearly came out of its thing. Yeah. Sorry. I don't know how to get sound through the recorder at the moment, but fuck it.
Yeah. So here we go.
Against Stan Hansen.
Yep. Stan Hansen. Vader laying stuff in.
Here we go.
There's that stupid Sigma TikTok music that we're talking about. That's not even the one I was thinking of. Like, I'm sure that's the same match, but later on he like splashes Stan Hansen in the corner and like his eyeball pops back out.
Oh.
Just pure 2 big beefy men sparring.
Oh, what is it? Is it that? That's fucking.
That's the bit I was thinking. I don't know if it was maybe how Botchamania kind of edited it, but I remember the eye coming out after the splash. I will say that's always a good fun sight to behold. See just like 2 big meatballs running into each other.
They love that shit in Japan, don't they? They love that fucking. Let's get guys just absolutely mauling the shit out of each other here.
Just
and look, it's not even like over here. It's like the biggest muscly, defined guys ever. But look at that. That's just like 2 dads down at the school gates. It's just like your fucking son says to me, you're fucking just a bad barney of 2 big dads, man. It's not even like.
It's like when they fight at a football game or something.
You gotta respect it, but. That's fucked up, man. His eye looked pretty sore.
mean, I think that's come back to bite him again with Shawn Michaels as well. Oh, 1 wee second, that's the autoplay. So, Shawn Michaels actually set about Vader at one point where he actually goes off the top rope and he like starts stomping on him. He's like yelling at him.
Oh, really?
I think he was like working too stiff, and this was like Shawn's top Jake before he found God phase.
Before he became a born again fucking Christian. Which happened to Sting as well. A lot of wrestlers have found God.
Yeah, Sting did like suffer from like substance abuse and like alcohol issues. I believe his marriage was starting to like come under a lot of pressure during his time in WCW.
Okay.
But in the ring, he would give us some classic moments like the Shockmaster debut.
What the fuck was? What did he change? He changed his name altogether?
No, do you not remember the Shockmaster?
The Shockmaster, no.
Right, we are going to put this up. So, the idea was that Sting was fighting Sid Vicious at this point.
Okay.
And he was going to introduce this new fantastic wrestler that was going to shock the world.
Okay, alright.
Nudge. This is one of... Remember at the start of this podcast we were talking about some of the weird moments of his video? This is one of them.
Oh, wait a minute. Was that Sting behind that fucking Stormtrooper helmet?
No, that's Sting there next between
Flair
and Brutus Beefcake. Sid Vicious is hilarious.
The Harlem Heat. What's this on? WCW?
Yeah, this is the early years of WCW before NWO, like
yep.
Dungeon of Doom kind of era. This is actually annoying me. So I used to be a theatre student. See if you were standing the way Brutus Beef... No, is it Brutus
Davey Boy?
Beef? Davey Boy Smith is standing right now. If you're back to the audience, you would be chewed out for it. So, yeah. Like, you can't even see Sting.
Yeah, it's true. Is that the Colonel? Is that Colonel Sanders? Colonel Sanders been eating his own chicken.
It might be. Who knows? Like, we had Robocop already, so it might be Colonel Sanders.
Right, so what are they saying here? They're going to debut the fucking...
And here we go. The greatest debut.
Oh yeah, when he falls and his fucking thing comes off. That is fucking hilarious, man.
What were they thinking with the attire, by the way? Let's look at this fucking girl.
Wait a minute. He's got... Is that a pair of fucking jeans?
A belt?
Pair of fucking top man ladies jeggings.
He's got like
a fucking snakeskin belt.
A weird fucking like vest. I don't even know what you call it.
It's like a fucking puffer jacket with the stuffing ripped out of it and then they've cut the sleeves off.
Aye, like they've just took some wee scissors.
Aye.
And the best part about this whole attire, a Stormtrooper helmet that's been dipped in glitter.
Like fucking covered in silver glitter, man.
The glitter, it's like so full of glitter you can actually see some of it on like the Shockmaster's arms and his chest.
I just noticed that. Right, so then it's the Shockmaster! And he came bounding through the wall and just decked it and his helmets came off first thing.
And now he's talking, Sid Vicious is like screaming over him.
You must have been, I mean, if you're Sid Vicious, Booker T, Sting, Davey Boy, you must have been fucking howling inside at this point, man.
Oh, definitely. Oh, this dubbed voice that they've got for this guy. You can call me the Shockmaster. I mean, this is dead on arrival. This gimmick already. Like, never mind the falling through the wall was bad enough, but the whole attire and the voice.
The Shockmaster. Fucking hell, that's a fucking superb segment.
Well, I mean, 2.9 million views on YouTube. That is a piece of wrestling history.
That is ultimate fucking...
And we can thank the Stinger for it. But not only was there weird moments, there was also some controversy during his career, because not long after this he would fight Rick Rude in New Japan Pro Wrestling in May 1994.
Yeah.
You've just seen this before starting this episode, haven't you?
Yep. And don't get me, I mean, it fucking looked like a great match.
Yeah.
The pair of them look like they're in their prime. They're fucking pulling some great fucking moves. They look really, really energetic.
Yeah. I think it's just a shame that the botch of Sting's crossbody to the outside, Rick Rude took it, and you can see his spine like collide with the ringside area, which isn't just flat, it's like levels to it.
Step, isn't there? There's like a step up to it.
A step which broke his C4 and C5 vertebrae. Now, it's funny because like there were rumours that Rude was bitter about the injury, but Sting revealed in an interview in 1999 that Rude walked up to him afterwards. This was years after, by the way. Walked right up to him and shook his hand. We were friends till the day we died, Sting said. So, no hard feelings. Once again, this is wrestling. I know this is going to sound daft, but it's not ballet, it's wrestling. Like, even though it's predetermined, like, these bumps and everything are real, and the risk is massive. I mean, Rick Rude's vertebrae got shattered from a crossbody.
Yeah, fuck
and
that.
it just kind of shows that the risk that we'll take, well, I'm saying that as if I'm a wrestler.
I'm a wrestler too.
Aye, I'm a wrestler too. The risk that they all go through when they step through the ropes. But then to what this would be the end, where wrestling was starting to kind of go away from the whole colourful kind of characters and more into gritty, edgy kind of stuff, which then led to the birth of the NWO and Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Now, Sting himself was aware of this, and so he would ditch the bright face paint and the bleach blonde hair, and he would become what would be the quintessential version of Sting, the Crow.
So when did that begin to happen? When did he eventually... What era was it he eventually decided, right, it's time to ditch this fucking blonde hair and grow it out and change the face paint up, change the look?
It was actually part of his storyline with the NWO.
Okay.
So he did stop bleaching the hair by this point already, but it became like a year before his world title win against Hulk Hogan. He would come out and he would blame the fans for losing faith in him while the NWO were running riot everywhere. So then he would disappear, and for the next year he would just sit in the rafters and watch. And it's amazing that this caught on so well, because like without taking a single bump, without saying one single word, just in the rafters, looking down, maybe flying down sometimes, he would become the most over babyface at this point.
This is definitely the era when I cottoned on to him and started recognising this is when I was putting on WCW on the TV the first few times of getting into wrestling, and this is definitely around about the time that I started to notice him and really became a fan.
Yeah, and I think it also helps that up until this point the NWO was unstoppable.
Yeah.
They were just running riot everywhere, and like the fact that this outsider, this guy who was basically the Crow, was like taking them apart, he became like the de facto babyface. Have you ever seen the Crow, by the way?
No, I've never seen it.
It's the exact same face paint, which isn't a bad thing at all. In fact, a lot of wrestling gimmicks are based on like movies and stuff, and it's just like that perfect marriage where he's seen something like that and it translated perfectly into the ring. It's a good movie. It's sad, the story behind it. The lead actor died.
So is that the film Brandon Lee died making?
Yeah, so he is. It's honestly a bit like, I think it's Alec Baldwin. Remember, he got involved in like shooting.
Oh yeah,
like
that cunt. Aye.
It's the same kind of story.
Or he got shot on set. Aye.
Yeah, so in the movie the character gets shot and then he comes back as a Crow, which is, you know, Sting with the face paint and the trench coat, a spirit of vengeance, just like Sting is a spirit of vengeance for WCW. But when filming that scene, there were live rounds in the gun. And
Jesus.
That's how Brandon Lee passed away, and the stuntman had to like film the rest of the movie.
Oh my god.
Still a good movie, but it's forever infamous because of obviously what happened.
Because of how it went down. That's a shame, eh? That's Bruce Lee's son, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
But they're remaking it this year.
Are they?
There's a remake coming out.
Oh my god, who's starring in it?
I don't know, to be honest, but
Wow, that'll be interesting.
I'd be up for seeing it. But back to Sting.
Add that to the movie club.
Oh yeah, the movie club. I don't know. We've got one member who's a bit panicky, so we might need to try and butter him up a wee bit over it. But back to Sting, this was kind of the high point of WCW. WCW at this point were killing WWE in the ratings. This was part of the 83-week, I don't know what you want to call it, trend or marathon.
83-week run when they were kind of on top of the ratings with against WWE.
Yep, and it was all building up to Starrcade 1997, which was announced as the most important match in WCW history, but as we all know, in hindsight, is now known as one of the greatest botches in wrestling history. So we actually watched the match before recording this. What did you think about it yourself, Chris?
So, yeah, I remember I did watch it a few years ago when I was younger, because I remember people always citing the match as being like their favourite or something. I can't remember. I definitely seen, I definitely seen it years ago. We just had a little refresher of it there. I mean, it's psychology wise, you were saying how it's kind of old school in that sense that what Hulk was beating him down, and then every kind of move Sting came back with, it was like seen as colossal and really affected Hulk, and it was good in that sense, but it never really kind of got off the ground before it was finished, and then the finish was just, I was so confused, and it was all due to this fast count, slow count thing that referee Nick Patrick was supposed to do. Yeah.
It's weird, like, it seemed like just when the match was starting to hit that second gear, as it would for, WCW's equivalent of WrestleMania and the biggest match in history, just when it seemed like things were really starting to pick up, it was just like a normal count to 3, Hogan pins Sting. And it's confusing to watch, and it gets even more confusing because, like, the bell bearer, he's about to ring the bell, and Bret Hart stops him.
Yeah.
And you can hear Bret Hart say, "Not again." And he, like, fucking knocks out Nick Patrick.
And this is like a month after the Montreal Screwjob at Survivor Series, right?
Yeah, so watching this, I thought, oh, right, this is another one of those, because Eric Bischoff, his mantra is controversy creates cash. I thought, oh, right, this is another one of those, oh, it's controversial, but the controversial ending that gets people talking. It's like, sometimes simple is best.
Sometimes you just need a nice clean win for the babyface. Why does it need to be like that? But again, we both think that there's been tampering in that from Hulk, and we think that Bischoff's a bit of a bitch. We should be calling him Bitch-off.
Yeah. I like that.
We think Bischoff's a wee bit of a bitch, and he's kind of maybe, I mean, from stuff that we've seen stuff on his podcast that he was saying about Sting not looking the best and going through a lot of stuff at the time, which is fair and stuff, but we don't think that should depict whether or not the success of a company's fucking build up to such a big match. That shouldn't dictate that, that shouldn't change the course of it, really, if it was always right to be putting the strap on Sting.
This is why the business is kind of so, there's so many variables that can change an outcome.
Yeah.
Such as a wrestler's personal life, and Bischoff's excuse, well, one of the excuses Bischoff was used in his podcast would be that he didn't have a tan.
Yeah.
Which is absolute bullshit. That's political speak for I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, definitely.
But it just kind of, the thing is, like, you're caught between a rock and a hard place, because, like, if we don't know, we weren't there for sure. Well, obviously we weren't there. We were Glaswegian, and we were like 8 at this point.
There was no way.
Yeah. It's just, when you've got this finish built up, everyone is anticipating this big title change, this big, like, epilogue to the story. So if you change course now, you're going to disappoint them. but then you run the risk of someone that you're saying is a liability. So then how do you correct it afterwards?
Yep.
But it's just the way they went about it here. It's just, I think he should have just won clean, and then maybe the night after or the next pay-per-view or something, have some heel just steal it from him.
Yep.
And then it means like Sting gets this big moment, the NWO story finishes off nice and clean, and then we can set course and move on.
It just didn't make sense this way, and it just reeked of Hulk Hogan. It just reeked of his tampering. It reeked of something he would do because of his ego, and it just felt a bit fucking weird.
Well, speaking of which, Bischoff would later write in one of his books that he and Hogan disagreed with the finish of the match. Bischoff, before the event, had the finish been Sting wins clean. That was it. Hogan apparently balked at the idea of Sting winning. One of the concerns being he didn't have a 10, brother. And mentally unwell, problems at home, and not out of shape. Now, here's the thing about this whole tan thing. This is a guy who's been in the rafters for a whole year. How the hell is he going to get a tan up there?
Well,
I think it just kind of suits his character that he's no tans.
Yeah, and he's that kind of dark mystique. Yeah, it totally suits his character that he's that way. It's when you picture this guy away from the ring, you just picture him sitting there staring at stuff. Like, you don't.
He's literally walking out with a trench coat and a baseball bat.
Yeah.
That's already off kilter for a main eventer.
Yep.
So I don't see why this whole tan thing was a big issue for them. But then it kind of goes on to show that politics came into play here, with Hogan getting cold feet over a clean finish, Bischoff eventually going over to his side.
Yeah.
Apparently Sting did try and fight his corner from what they were saying on the podcast, but obviously with the way things turned out, Sting did get his moment, but it was diluted.
Yeah.
It took all the momentum out of him. I think what's most interesting about these podcasts that Bischoff done was that they had the referee at the time, Nick Patrick, on them.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Patrick claimed that he was being pulled by two different sides. Now, I'm guessing this is Hogan and Sting he's talking about. He did say that Hogan came up to him before the match and said, "A nice slow count." And then Sting came up to him after Hogan and said, "Make it fast." So you've got this poor guy who's stuck in the middle of like the biggest match in WCW history,
and he is not getting paid enough to deal with all this stress of like, what the fuck did I do?
Yeah, because and he says himself, like, no matter what he does here, he's going to piss off someone.
Yeah.
So like, what can he do? So
Jesus Christ,
I honestly don't blame Nick Patrick at all.
Yeah.
And he even says himself he believed he was being set up as a scapegoat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes perfect sense, to be honest.
I mean, it's the Errol Hebner kind of situation again, just like the Bret Hart thing. Where it's like, oh, the referee was part of it. He should get some of the heat. No, it was just Hogan just digging his heels in again. And see, to be honest, like, I think this is, I know later on the danger of WCW closing would become more apparent, but I think this was the real start of the downfall.
Yeah, because it just stunk of like fucking unprofessionalism, if that's the right word. But yeah, it did just kind of feel like, oh, what the fuck is going on here? Like, this is like fucking a group of guys have just fucking
took over.
I've just been like, we'll just fucking do what we fucking think. Nah, it should be fucking way more toned than that. This is Starrcade.
This is
like the biggest event.
Fault. Yeah, he should have put his foot down and said, no, this is what we're doing. But then, obviously, and the thing is as well, I think the NWO should have ended at this event.
Yeah.
Or maybe started to break apart. But no, what happened was afterwards, they would splinter off into two separate groups. Hogan with NWO Hollywood and Sting, of all people, would join the NWO Wolfpack, where he would don that horrendous fucking tomato face fucking makeup. I hate that.
Did you not like that? No.
No, it's fucking minging.
It's a bit bright, isn't it?
A bit bright. It looks like he's just had like ketchup sauce fucking sprayed on his face beforehand, and then that was it. I think I just have a lot of like bad thoughts about the NWO Wolfpack, because like it was during this storyline with the two factions fighting each other, which was when the finger poke of doom would happen, which would then cause the shift in ratings from the WCW to WWE.
Which was when Vince Russo got involved in WCW.
Yep. And it's just, the only good thing about the Wolfpack was the theme song.
What was the theme song for Wolfpack?
Dun, 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 dun. Don't turn your back on the Wolfpack. Do you not? It was like a pure weird. Do you not remember this?
No.
Have I gone crazy?
I don't know. It will be in my brain somewhere, but just you singing it there just wasn't ringing any bells.
Wolfpack is back, causing mass destruction. Do you not remember?
Oh, we need to hear it. We need to listen to it later.
I'm going to put this on my playlist now. But then, so yeah, Wolfpack, Sting, it just went against everything his character had been built up towards at that point for me. And obviously with the other shenanigans with Wolfpack, I think it was just rotten.
I think by this point they were probably thinking, how the fuck can we get more out of Sting here? How can we get something extra? How are we gonna diversify the character? All these types of things are probably running through their and Sting's mind. But the thing about Sting is, as a character, I mean, we know now just how fucking great that character is, because it's transcended generations, and even still now, just as the guy with the white and black face paint, he speaks a lot more now. He does a lot more talking, but that's all he's really added to it. I mean, he's done a lot of things in between, but between Sting back then and Sting now, all he does now is talk a whole lot more, which is not that big a change despite everything he's done in the middle. But if they'd have realised then, do you know what? If Sting just keeps doing what he's doing, he can probably kind of hold on to this a wee bit longer, and it probably would have got more longevity just out of the current iteration of his character.
I think it speaks, it's a testament to, everyone goes on about Chris Jericho, he's amazing at reinventing himself. Sting reinvented himself really well over the years as well.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he hit a gold mine with the whole surfing, blonde hair with the face paint, and then tapping into the edgy Crow character. And as you'll see in the TNA stuff, like, he did reinvent himself again, well, twice during that run. And so I think, TNA, to be honest, TNA is my favourite moment of Sting, but that's because, like, I was really hooked into TNA at the time, and he was, like, one of the big stars. So, WCW closed. It's actually funny because, like, the very last match on Monday Night Nitro was Sting and Ric Flair, which was also the very first match in Monday Night Nitro history.
Mad. So
there was that kind of, melancholy to it all, where these old rivals were facing each other one last time before Vinnie Mac fucking ruined it. So Sting would then move on to TNA because there was a number of reasons why he didn't jump to WWE like other wrestlers. So, as you said, he was loyal to WCW. And to be fair, they were really good to him.
Yep.
World champion in 4 years. Wrestlers would kill to get that kind of push.
100%.
And then he also had negative dealings with WWE attorneys. Now, this was in a documentary that featured him talking about this. He never went into further detail on that end, but he did go into detail about the booking process. He did not trust the way WWE would book him. Yeah. And, I mean, you look at how some of these
look at how they handled that, man. I mean, that was crazy, wasn't it? Like, the whole... I've been listening to this last couple of weeks, I've been listening to Jim Ross's book, Under the Black Hat, it's called. It's really good. Just check it out.
Yeah.
But he was speaking about this angle and that, and how much he disagreed with it, and how it's actually good insight into how Vince McMahon's brain actually works, and all the ridiculous shit that runs through his mind.
He's just not human, that guy.
Definitely not. But how he concocted that whole invasion angle and the thoughts between it and stuff, and it was just like, fuck, you could have got so much more out of that. You could have done that so much better, but like, they had this refusal to let any WWE guy be beaten by a WCW guy just because of how it looks. But you could, like, let the WCW guys win. Give them a bit of strength. You have just signed them.
Yeah.
They are now WWE guys.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, your so-called inverted comma WWE guys are getting beat by fellow WWE guys. So what does it matter? You're going to further the storyline and you're going to be able to keep WCW just as strong as it was, but instead they decided to just absolutely fucking shit all over the brand.
It just seems
Not
like
let any WWE guys be beaten by them, and it was just.
it just seems pure ego driven, and it's a bad investment to buy this whole company and not like build it up to make more money.
Yeah, all he got out of it in the end was fucking the tape library.
It's decisions like that which led to the fucking PG era.
100%, yeah, 100%. Because it drove it more and more into the ground and laid the foundations for just like fucking god awful creative in the years to come.
I mean, we could have had Sting versus The Undertaker.
That is the one that in that era would have been perfect.
Yeah, they're
Like
both in their
late-
prime.
Yeah, like early 2000s, late
Mhm.
90s, early 2000s. When was the last WCW show?
Last WCW show was 2001.
2001. Okay, so there you go. So fuck right, we could have had Sting and Undertaker easily 2002, 2003, 2004 era, which is
Mm-hmm.
I mean them years are prime Undertaker. You could have had Sting and Undertaker at fucking what? WrestleMania 20, WrestleMania 19.
Yep.
Wow.
And what did we get instead? DDP, Stock and Sarah. Like,
It's just so badly done.
cares?
Like so badly done. Like
DDP.
a golden era of wrestling could have easily been
They-
rectified.
just absolute botch. And one of the prime examples of this whole mess up which convinced Sting not to sign was it involved Booker T. Booker T
Yep.
shows up in WWE. The Rock takes one look at him and goes, "Who are you?"
Yeah, I remember that soundbite. I've heard Sting say that before. Yeah, and it just from them words just shot him down.
Yeah. So he made the smart choice and he jumped ship to TNA, where he would kind of become kind of a tentpole of that company in its early years. He would become like the main face against Jeff Jarrett, who was going through his own reign of terror with the NWA Championship. Pretty good, to be honest. Like, a lot of good matches during this time there, and the whole idea with TNA at this time, and I thought it was genius. So you had Sting versus Jarrett,
Yeah.
but they were building the future of wrestling with the X Division. AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Jay Lethal, all these like talented Samoa Joe, like legends, world champions today.
Yeah.
Like, so it was like the perfect kind of business strategy, and that's what got them to get Christian Cage and Kurt Angle signed on later on, which then led to kind of a weird stable. I actually liked this stable, but there were kind of issues with it. The Main Event Mafia. Are you familiar with this?
So yeah, my knowledge of Sting when he was in TNA is pretty slim. I mean, I seen some of them, but at the time I was hooked big on WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of ruthless aggression era. I was pretty into that. But yes, I've heard Main Event Mafia, but I could not tell you a thing about them. So I need you to enlighten me, Jamie, please.
So Main Events Mafia, it was a group of wrestling legends.
Okay.
Kurt Angle, Sting, Booker T, Scott Steiner, and Kevin Nash. So these were kind of like the legends.
Holla! If you hear me.
Big Papa Pump.
For some fucking Steiner math, man.
Just absolute freak, that man, honestly. So the idea was that like AJ Styles and all these younger wrestlers,
Yeah.
they were kind of becoming stars at this point. And to get more experience under the belt, the Main Event Mafia would be this heel stable of wrestling legends who would fight against the TNA originals, the young starts, Samoa Joe and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was pretty entertaining. I mean, like Sting, once again, having good matches with people. He kind of had his whole heel turn where he was like, I built this business up for spoiled brats. And he's like, trying to prove that he's the caliber that they should be, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which I think was the best way to go about it. Scott Steiner, on the other hand, was kind of in his own wee world at this point. He was fat shaming Samoa Joe non-stop. And there's actually one promo that they done where he buried the TNA originals. He goes on the mic, and we need to watch this.
Yeah, we should watch it.
Hilarious. the main event Mafia, they're in the ring, and lo and behold, Scott Steiner takes a mic. So you know it's going to be entertaining already.
Oh, when Scott Steiner grabs a mic, you're just just brace yourself. Just get comfortable.
Yep.
Turn up the volume.
And I hope everyone did during this because Jesus Christ. He goes on about the TNA originals, and he goes, you guys, you sit backstage playing your computer games, and you go online and you want to hear what these nerds think about your matches. Ask us and we'll tell you you suck. And during this whole time, like, Kurt Angle is flabbergasted, like, just mouth open, eyes wide staring at this. Everyone else is cracking up during this.
Just get the mic off that guy ASAP, man. But for our sake, for entertainment's sake, let him have the mic.
It was, the whole thing was entertaining, but there's one issue with Main Event Mafia at this point. This is a stable built up of beloved wrestling legends, and they're supposed to be heels. Sting, you're supposed to be booing Sting during this, and we all love Sting. so that was the only issue with the group, but it was a good idea, and it did help build up like AJ Styles and all these other people. In fact, Sting and AJ had probably my favourite Sting match, Bound for Glory 2009 main event. Brilliant match. Set AJ up as like the man, the face of the company.
I need to see that.
Oh, it's on YouTube.
Is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's perfect. And then he would still kind of wrestle for a wee while, and then Hogan and Bischoff appear again. And so ends the glory days of TNA now.
Oh, God.
So, what do you think? So, obviously, 2009, people were probably done with the NWO at this point.
I mean, it's ran its course. I mean, you still see the NWO shirts flying about, but I think that's just because it's a classic design.
So, what do you think Hogan and Bischoff's big idea was for when he joins TNA?
Bring back the NWO, brother.
Yep. Bring back the NWO, but they're not called the NWO.
Oh.
They're called Immortal. And they turned Jeff Hardy heel as their champion at this point. And I feel like this is the only trick Eric Bischoff has up his sleeve. It's just like, company takeover of this big evil group. Like,
yeah, I just like...
This was an absolute mess, this period in TNA. And like, Jeff Hardy would then run into his own substance abuse issues, which would lead to Victory the Road, where obviously the infamous match between Sting and Jeff Hardy
just couldn't go ahead.
Yep, so Sting walks out, he's ready to go, he's the Stinger, like we all expected a good match, and then out stoats Jeff Hardy, like
fucking wasted, doesn't
even know where he is. He tries to throw his t-shirts into the crowd twice, and he just drops it.
Oh my God. It's sad, and it's a shame. I have seen this. This clip is quite. He shouldn't be there. Someone should have stopped him. Someone should have been like, "Nah, you can't go out. Look at you."
Well, it's funny because like he actually disappeared that day.
Oh, did he?
And by the time they found out he was not supposed to be in the match, he was halfway down the ramp. So then, obviously, like Sting is raging. Eric Bischoff comes out and he goes, right, everyone, it's going to be a no DQ match just to make it more exciting. But then he drops the mic and you can see him mouthing something to Sting. And you can tell he's saying to him, make it quick. So then Sting, right away, hits a Scorpion Death Drop. Is it Scorpion Death Drop?
Yes.
Yes, Scorpion Death Drop on Jeff Hardy. And he really pins him to the mat. Like, and it's not even like a wrestling pin where you fly on top of the guy.
he's holding him down.
He's holding him down. Jeff Hardy actually claws at Sting's neck.
Oh, God.
It actually starts bleeding because of the amount of like tearing Jeff Hardy's doing, trying to get out. And Sting just gets up, and if you could put silent rage, like a definition to silent rage, you would just need a photo of Sting's face during this moment. He is not happy at all.
Yep.
And it's funny, like, you can hear the crowd chant, bullshit. And he just goes, I agree.
I agree.
I think Sting is usually tight-lipped and he never really talks bad about like people's situations. I think that's the only time I've seen him do that as a fan.
Yeah, like pretty, like clearly show his frustrations with his co-worker.
Yeah, but he was still onto TNA, which would lead to another reinvention of the character, Joker Sting.
Now, yeah, I mean, at the time I completely missed this.
This was,
but I have seen some pictures, I've seen some clips, but yeah, how did this all come around? What was the main
this is a guilty
story
pleasure.
behind this?
It's actually a good setup.
Yeah. Okay.
So Sting would go into a rivalry with Ken Anderson, who was known as Mr. Kennedy in WWE.
Okay, yeah.
Now Ken Anderson, obviously he's got the bleach blonde hair. He kind of looks like a wee mini Sting. So they played that up where Mr. Kennedy, he was making a joke out of Sting's legacy. He was going, "You're nothing but a clown." He would come out wearing Sting's old gear and his face paint and everything, just like needling, just really winding them up to the point where one day Sting snaps and he goes, "Oh, am I a clown to you?" And so he becomes like Joker Sting, where the classic Crow face paint is now smudged like the Heath Ledger Joker.
Yeah.
And he's starting to play like mind games with the Immortal and all the other wrestlers. And so it's weird, it kind of mirrors the Crows thing, but now we've got Joker versus NWO. And it actually leads to one of my favourite. This is one of the most stupid backstage segments I've ever seen in wrestling, but I love it so much.
Okay.
I can't remember what match it pertained to, but there was a match where Immortal were planning to like take over or interfere to cost the babyface, and Joker Sting was making sure that wouldn't happen. So he corners Eric Bischoff in his office and he sets a crow on him. He pulls out this cage and he just goes, "Hey Eric, watch this," and he opens the door and this crow flies out onto Eric Bischoff's desk. And Eric Bischoff has to like pretend like he's acting like he's set a leopard on him or something. He's like recoiled back and he's going, "Sing, stop, please." I believe Brian Alvarez would call this the Guard Bird episode.
The Guard Bird?
Yeah. It just is honestly one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen in wrestling. It's just Eric Bischoff, fat Eric Bischoff, scared of this tiny wee crow that's just hopping about his desk. While Sting's doing this Heath Ledger impression.
Oh my god.
But this run would culminate in yet another match against Hulk Hogan, against Hulk Hogan in TNA's equivalent of WrestleMania. Bound for Glory 2001. Well, thankfully...
2011.
Thank you for correcting me. Thankfully, Sting would get a clean finish this time. Wow. And he saved TNA and he brought Hulkamania back until Hulk Hogan pissed off. And then he just kind of kept going for a wee while, became a legend in TNA, got inducted into the Hall of Fame, which now leads to WWE.
The dreaded WWE run.
Want to know what the best thing about this run was?
What's that?
The video game advert.
The one with the opera, the
Yes.
orchestra.
I get goosebumps every time I watch it.
Yeah, that was cool.
It was like it was even that's a botch though, because like that would have been the perfect video to introduce Sting. It'd be like, he's coming.
Yeah, I know.
And it's just like, buy the game this year in the next couple of months. Sting's going to be a bonus. And it's like, no, just like that whole thing with the opera and him coming down and he looks at the camera. Yeah. It should have just been, he's coming.
Everything about the WWE run for me, like when it happened, I loved it. I was going crazy. I couldn't believe it. But at the same time, I was also watching it and going, "Oh, this could have been so much better."
Yep.
And I remember when he came out, I was like, this is just quite shit. It was great. It was great just to see him, because I hadn't seen him in so long, because I didn't keep up with him in TNA, because I didn't think it was... Well, I should have kept up with him in TNA, but I remember at the time going, Sting, he won't be being used well in TNA, because I can't think of a word to use just now, but I always thought TNA just wasn't as good as WWE, but that's just because of what age I was, and I was a WWE loyal at the time, and I wasn't really into watching stuff outside of what my favourite thing was to begin with. But as I've got older, I've started to realise, like, oh no, wait, things aside from WWE are great.
Yeah.
So I wish I had watched at the time, but this could have been so much better from the get-go.
You want to know what my favourite part of this whole WWE run was?
What was that?
His debut at Survivor Series. And it's not just because of Sting finally ended WWE after all these years. It was actually a story out with. It was so. Some of you may remember this group on Facebook. It was called Wrestling Memes.
Okay.
So this guy, he ran this like wrestling meme page where he put wrestling memes up. Anyone could share wrestling memes. Sorry, I spoke. But then Survivor Series 2014 starts to come up. And obviously the rumours are abounding. Sting's going to show up. Now this one guy in the wrestling group, he went by the name Emilio. He made a bet and he said, I'm so sure this isn't going to happen, so I'm going to say it right now. If Sting shows up at Survivor Series, I will suck everyone's dick. Lo and behold, in the main event of Survivor Series 2014, Sting comes out to save Dolph Ziggler from the Authority and help him win the match. So obviously the Facebook group is full of everyone going, right, Emilio, time's up when we get that kind of thing. This went on for months and months, and I just remember this guy, like, he didn't say anything afterwards, and it became a joke where I was like, where's Emilio? There's even like memes of Sting behind wrestlers going, you're not Emilio. And then eventually a post would show up from Emilio and it said, hi, this is Emilio's super hot girlfriend. I'm sorry to say, but Emilio has died in a car crash. There will be no blowjobs given from now on. And that was the end of the story. But yeah, it was one of the funniest running jokes I've ever seen on social media.
I had no idea about that.
It's so I'll show you like proof of this. So like, if you just search like Sting wrestling memes Emilio on Google, you'll see some bits and bobs of it, but
okay,
it's hilarious.
That sounds cool.
I hope he's doing okay now, that guy. I hope he's not giving any blowjobs right now.
For the last fucking 10 years, he's just been fucking.
I mean,
he's just fucking so much. It became a day job for him.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on my turn, Emilio. Call me. But anyways, going back to the WWE run, this would start a rivalry with Triple H.
Yep.
And it was weird because, so, on one hand, you've got Sting. He's going, I'm not doing this for WCW. I'm doing this because I'm sick of Triple H throwing his weight around everywhere.
Yeah.
And then you just had Triple H being like, WCW's dead, Sting. Like, yeah, he said it's not about WCW. Like,
yeah.
So then it became this weird match. And then it led to the WrestleMania match. Now, see the WrestleMania match?
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit like the Starrcade match where the match was good, but then the ending.
It's just so strange, wasn't it?
I mean, I get the idea of like the NWO and DX in the same ring together. Like, yeah, that was a cool sight, even though like the NWO saving Sting, it's kind of like Rangers coming out to save Scott Brown from a beatdown.
It's a bit like, didn't he spend like most of his career fighting against these guys?
Yeah.
Why are they helping him?
Because it's WCW, brother.
Yeah, it just seems a bit like just fuck it. I just throw the WCW guys in. I just put NWO shirts on them.
That's such good shit, pal.
I was buzzing at the time just because of the fucking. I think we were out in a bar watching it that night. I can't remember what night it was.
Was it that night?
It could have been. I don't know. But we were somewhere. We were together, I'm sure.
I remember you were pissed at the end.
But I remember enjoying it. I do remember being like, it was great to see Sting, man. But I do remember when I thought about it and more in depth, I was like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah. It was just, I don't know, it's kind of weird like seeing him in broad daylight as well.
Yeah, that was strange.
So used to him in like all these dark arenas and up in the rafters that just seen him start out with this drum band in the middle of the day. It was weird.
Aye, it needed to be darker.
And then afterwards he would disappear for a while, and then he would reappear to challenge Seth Rollins for the world title. Have you seen the segment where he returns to challenge Seth Rollins?
No, I would have done at the time, but it's not coming to my memory just now.
I feel like it's a perfect personification of his, well, along with WWE. It's another kind of botch.
Is it?
It's a segment where Seth Rollins, like, he's obviously Triple H's baby boy at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And so Triple H goes, I made a statue for you, Seth. And they're going to reveal it in the ring. They left the curtain and Sting is standing there, which would be cool, but he's in a t-shirt and his face paint is all cracked and missing.
Oh, this is because he had to obviously like I do remember this. Being like, oh, what the fuck?
You alright?
That's not fucking Sting. I in this fucking random t-shirt. Oh god.
I feel like that's the sign when you need to give it up as a wrestler. See, when you have to wrestle in a t-shirt when you've been known not to all these years. I think that's it.
Can't you just get like a full like bodysuit? Or I guess the whole deal is that you don't want anything skin tight. I guess.
Well, maybe because would it not like hold some of the fat in?
Probably, yeah.
Well, I mean, Dustin Rhodes tried that in TNA and that didn't go well for him. Did you ever see that?
No.
With Black Crane.
No.
It's Goldust, but he's Black Crane. So instead of gold and black, he's silver and black.
Oh god.
And he carries a mouse with him.
Oh my god.
Honest, we should do an episode on like just the dumbest moments in TNA. We need to have a gold mine of stuff to talk about.
Be a
by
good
the way.
We should do that.
But yeah, so Sting obviously pulling the Dustin Rhodes with the t-shirt and whatever.
Uh-huh.
And then we get to the match with Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I remember this.
Good match, but Seth Rollins wasn't safe at this point. He had already broke John Cena's nose a month prior.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, was that a month prior? It was during that summer he broke John Cena's nose. He was he was kind of botching a wee bit. In fact, during the same time period, he injured himself when he tried that powerbomb off the turnbuckle.
Mm-hmm.
And funny enough, it's the exact same move which injured Sting during this match, where he would lift Sting up for a powerbomb and he would throw him into the corner.
Yep.
And you can see Sting, you can see like it kind of hit him more than it should have.
Yeah.
And he just kind of collapses in the middle of the ring, which is a sad way to go. And it was especially heartbreaking for the next couple of years, because that was the last we seen of him in a wrestling ring.
Yeah.
Was him just collapsing mid-match.
And you're just like, fuck. Is this it?
Aye.
Is this how it ends? We're never going to see him again?
Where did it all go wrong?
Yep.
But then, thankfully, I know people, obviously, there's this whole WWE versus AEW rivalry with certain fans.
Yeah.
Get a grip.
Aye, fuck that shit.
Like,
it's all one. It's all wrestling.
all the wrestlers are pals.
Yeah.
They don't care.
They're all making money.
It's not like WWE, WCW where they're slagging each other. Like, they all want to succeed together.
I think the more companies are now, the better.
Oh, definitely. You never want a monopoly.
No. It didn't work for all them years at WWE. Once WWE got WCW, I mean, look at Ruthless Aggression era went well, but things took a right deep dive to the point where
the PG era.
They had to seriously change stuff up. And it's only now they're kind of getting over that, I would say. It's only now it's starting to become more cohesive, entertaining stories and stuff that you actually want to watch now.
Oh, definitely. As long as they don't have 30-minute promos.
Yeah.
Did you see this last night with the Bloodline?
No, I'm not up to date.
30 minutes of The Rock and Roman Reigns talking to get to a point that we already know they're going to get to.
Oh, God.
I just don't see why. We all love a good wrestling promo.
Yeah.
But a quarter of the show,
yeah, that's wild.
30 minutes straight of just these people standing and talking. Like, nah. Cut it down a wee bit. But and the good thing is, with AEW, because of AEW, we got Sting to return.
Yes. He came back,
What?
which was a great buzz as well.
Yep.
I had more of a buzz over this when he came to WWE.
See, I was worried because, like, obviously the last sight of him before his AEW debut was him collapsing in the ring, and I
Yeah.
thought, there's no way whatsoever he's going to be ring ready and not get hurt. Boy, was I wrong.
I can't believe how well he's done.
It's amazing. Like, it's like he fucking drank this magic potion or
It's
something.
insane.
Yeah.
Like, it's like I think he looked older when he was in WWE.
He did.
I think he looked worse there. And now he looks like, I mean, yeah, he still looks his age. Like, we all get it. He's old as fuck, right? But the cunt's jumping off fucking fire exits now. He's fucking... Did you see when they were at Daly's place and he done a fucking death drop off the fucking... that bit at the side? The stage?
Yeah.
Through a table? And he fucking basically missed the table and fucking landed in the top half of his back.
Is that the bit
He
where...
was fine.
Is that the bit where Darby is like going up the ladder and Sting goes, "No, I'll do it."
It's like, mate. Listen,
Well,
he's done incredible in my opinion, and he's been there 2 years, 3 years.
It's been a brilliant final run for them.
It's been great.
It's weird because like they took baby steps off him at first. Obviously, like the tag team was a given, and like
Yes.
I said, when he first joined with Darby Allin, I was kind of like, but just because of face paint. But I think there is a genuine respect between the two, and
Yeah.
there's obviously that shared life experience that they've had with like struggling to make ends meet before hitting the big time.
Totally.
So it makes a lot of sense. I think Darby, both of them have benefited from each other.
Oh, so much.
Yeah.
So much.
Sting is reliving his fucking youth right now.
Brilliant. It's been such a buzz just to see him doing it, and we got to see them live at Wembley, and that was fucking. That was honestly for me, that was bucket list stuff,
Oh
because
my god.
you're just like, what? No way.
That moment when Metallica tune played
so
and
you
we
can
both looked at
destroy.
each other. We were just
We'd
like,
had a
"Oh
couple
my
beers by this
God."
point.
Yeah.
We were like, Slash! Just screaming. Oh,
Pure annoying the rest of our
it
area.
was elation, man. It was so good. I'll take that to the grave with me. It was so nice
It was
to see him in person.
one of my favourite moments as a wrestling fan.
Yep,
Like that right there.
definitely.
And he's living out his glory days, as I said. And Darby Allin, he's coming out of his shell a lot now.
Mm-hmm.
I actually want to see him win the World Championship at some point,
Yep.
because he's surprisingly good at promos.
He's great.
See, out of all these four pillars, like you had MJF. MJF is a given. Like,
Yeah,
he's great on the mic.
without shadow of a doubt.
Sammy Guevara and Jungle Boy have been a major disappointment.
Mm-hmm. They haven't lived up much.
Darby Allin, I know he's known for like the hardcore stuff, but he's a really good, like, just normal wrestler as well.
Yeah.
And see that promo ability he's picked up now. Like, he can go a long way with AEW still.
Yep.
Like, this tag team with Sting is only the start of like a really big push for them, I think. And I think my biggest worry is that I think you've got a good story with Darby after tomorrow's event. Well, obviously Sting retires.
Yeah.
You could do something where Darby might be unsure of himself, or he's trying to survive on his own, the outsider, against a whole company full of potential rivals.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried they're just going to stick him back into another tag team with like Edge or someone.
Yeah, I hope not. I hope they keep him as a singles guy for a while. I think after this, though, he'll go away. I think he's due to climb Everest soon. So I think after this program with Sting's over, I think he'll disappear. And then we won't see him for a bit.
Make us miss him.
Yeah, and then I think he'll come back. And in my honest opinion, he should come back as just purely singles.
Yeah.
And start like chasing something. Maybe not the world title, but I'd like to see him in there with freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. Maybe go after that belt.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe go up against Christian. Maybe take that TNT championship, something like that.
Yeah. I think there's a good story of his tag team with Sting. He's built up a lot of enemies during this point, and now you can actually capitalise on that and tell some interesting stories with him.
Yeah, definitely.
And Sting has been having the time of his life on the promo side as well, with the, I don't know if you remember the MJF pom-pom promo.
No.
So MJF, during one show, MJF calls Sting, "Oh, you're just Darby's cheerleader."
Oh, yeah.
And so Sting comes in and he's going, "Yeah, I think I'm a bit of a cheerleader." And he just pulls at these pom-poms and he starts like throwing them at MJF and he's going, "I've got a fever, and the only thing that's going to fix it is more pom-poms." And he pulls out like fucking 8 of them.
He's got so many stuffed away.
Like a pure magician. And then he hit, during that fun moment, this was the first sign where he said Showtime is nearly over. And now we're on the eve of Showtime finishing.
A total fucking mammoth of a career.
He should be proud of everything he's achieved.
100%.
There's been some low points, but there's been a lot of good memories for wrestling fans to digest from one guy.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, go.
I've actually, on my keys, I don't know where they are, I think they're over on the couch, I've got a keyring of Sting, and it's from the 90s. It's literally, like, it's a WCW merch thing.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's an original keyring.
Yeah.
And I've had that since, like, the first time I seen Sting, and I was like, oh my god, I fucking love this guy. I can't even remember where I bought it, or it must have been my mum that got me it, but I can't remember if it was for Christmas or a birthday or something, but yeah, I've had that keyring for that whole time.
You should post it on Instagram.
I know.
Show people what 90s memorabilia was like.
It's quite small. I bit the hands off him as well. I used to have hands and I chewed them off.
You didn't swallow them, did you?
No, I don't think I did.
That's
I stuffed them up my nose.
I'm jealous. Want to know what Sting merch I got when I was younger?
What?
A fucking action figure of the tomato face Wolfpack Sting.
Oh, did you? I've got one of the brawlers, the micro brawlers of the tomato face one. But I just ordered, there's a new micro brawler I just ordered.
Oh, right, okay.
Crow. There's a Crow one. You'll see it.
The good old classic Crow.
Yeah, they got me.
Yeah.
AEW emailed me and I was like, oh, fuck, I'm going to need to buy this. There's all sorts of new Sting merch coming out this week and I'm just like, fuck it, I'll buy it. I'm thinking that in like 30 years' time it might be worth
it will be.
Double.
I might just get a Sting shirt, to be honest, because, like, yeah, great wrestler. He's not my style. My preferred style of wrestling means he's not my personal Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
But I would say he's probably in my top 10.
100%.
Like, if you want to see a masterclass on, like, because he never really done, like, backflips or anything. He was never, like, if you want to see good old-fashioned wrestling with good psychology and amazing character work, not only with how he works each gimmick, but how he reinvents himself. And it's weird because, like, each reinvention of his gimmicks, it doesn't feel completely different from the one before. It just feels like an extension of the core personality of Steve Borden. He's
the true definition of doing the simple things but doing them really well.
Yep.
Like, really nailing down your moveset, really nailing all the things that you like doing, getting them down to a fine art and just sticking with them.
Yep. Work smart, don't work hard.
100%.
But a couple of things to finish up on this episode.
Yes.
One of my favourite running jokes was the Sting mask.
Alright, okay. Like people turning up in the mask and then taking it off and then it's like, oh fuck, it's Sting underneath.
It's just him with the face paint.
That's cool.
It's like, people say it's stupid and it's like, no, it's smart because the last person you expect underneath the mask is Sting.
Yeah, because you think it's like, oh, it's going to be a fucking fan. And like, yeah, it makes sense to me.
And it's a hilarious image at the same time.
Yeah. It's like, what? Did you just take off? Oh, fuck, it's Sting.
Yeah.
It's Sting!
In fact, do you want to see, while we're here, do you want to go over any predictions for tomorrow, Sting's match, maybe any other matches?
Okay.
Hold on, I'll get the pay-per-view up. So, for anyone who doesn't know, this is, on the day of recording this is the 3rd of March, the night before AEW Revolution 2024, which will take place on the 4th of March. So, the match cards, pre-matches, Julia Hart and Sky Blue versus Chris Statlander and Will Nightingale. I don't know what you think about that.
I think Julia and Sky Blue win.
Yeah, it keeps the momentum going with her weird Stevie Nicks golf kind of gimmick.
Yeah.
We've got the Bang Bang Scissor Gang.
I can't believe this is on the pre-show.
I think it's just because it's a stacked card. There are some.
Yeah, they've just kind of put it on.
I will say there is one or two matches I would swap for this one though. So we've got Bang Bang Scissor Gang, which is some of our favourite wrestlers in AEW at the moment on the tag team, against Double J, Jeff Jarrett and his group as well. I think that'll be a fun match.
It'll be good. I mean, it's always entertaining. All these guys here are good workers, so you know it's going to be fucking...
Yeah.
There'll be some shit going on.
It'll be a good match, gets people warmed up, and then third on the list that we have here is actually the one I would swap it with. Orange Cassidy versus Roderick Strong.
Aye.
I really enjoyed Roderick Strong, see when he was the jealous girlfriend of Adam Cole and MJF, and he had the whole fake neck injury going. That is the most entertained I've ever been by Roderick Strong in his whole career, and they've gimped it by putting him in with this Undisputed Kingdom kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Here's a hot take for everyone right now. Undisputed Era has always been overrated. There you go. Fight me. Did you ever watch NXT?
I love it. No, not in that era, no.
It was just the same old thing where Adam Cole, he fights people for like half an hour straight. Between half an hour and an hour. And they would kick out of like fucking 5 finishers, and then Undisputed Era would come out and help him and he'd win. It was that. I liked NXT a lot, but Undisputed Era was always my least favourite part about it.
Yeah.
It was just, I don't know. Maybe they'd done a good job because they were meant to be a heel stable and they annoyed the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
So who knows, maybe it works. But in my personal preference, Undisputed Era, I think people look at it through rose-tinted glasses. And I think AEW has proven it because this is the second time they've tried to recreate it. And it sucks.
Yeah, it's just this, I mean, fuck, I think I read somewhere it got, the whole devil thing got voted one of the worst promos of last year, one of the worst programs, last year.
It was...
build up to it and that.
It was interesting, but it went on for way too long, and...
For what it gave us, you know?
Yeah... So I like the idea of Adam Cole being the devil. I really do.
Yeah.
I just hate this idea of like yet another evil wrestling faction, and they've not really done much ever since.
Nah, they've just kind of pittered down.
Yeah.
Everything's just kind of died down since they've became who they are.
Yeah, Undisputed Kingdom exists for one reason. It's for MJF to come back to a big babyface pop and to fucking ruin him.
Yeah.
Which I hope he does, and they disband, and all wrestlers included go on to better things. Next on the list, Samoa Joe, the AEW champion, versus Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland.
This has got potential for match of the year, in my opinion.
It's funny, see when this match first got announced, I thought Swerve's going to win it.
I thought that too.
Have you... As the story has developed over the last couple of weeks, I'm not so sure anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. I think Swerve should win it at one point. I don't think he should win it tomorrow. But at the same time, you just don't know what can happen. Because, yeah, I mean...
I think that's...
How these things go, it just kind of...
Yeah. Samoa Joe is a great champion by himself, but see this rivalry with Adam Page that Swerve has.
Yeah. It's huge.
It's like Tommy Dreamer and Raven to me. Like, I feel like these two are destined to just fight till the end of time, and I would never be bored.
Yeah, they need to keep doing it because everything they've done is just gold so far. They've got a good chemistry together.
Yeah, did you see that thing that Adam done? The pettiness.
No.
So what led to this triple threat being announced was they actually fought for the number one contenders on AEW Dynamite.
Okay.
It went on to a time limit draw. And Swerve, who's been an evil bastard to Hangman Adam Page this whole time, goes 5 more minutes. And Adam Page goes, nah, I'm not going to let you have it. And he just walked out. And now he's kind of became more of a heel. And I've seen a theory on Twitter recently. and that would be so. I would love it if this actually happened. The prediction was Samoa Joe. He puts Adam Page in the chokehold, and as Adam Page is about to pass out, he sees Swerve and he smiles because he knows Swerve isn't going to get the title.
Oof.
I think that would be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah,
but at the pit, this could be Swerve's moment, but I think it'd be more interesting to see them mess each other about a bit longer. Next up is Timeless Tony Storm versus Deonna Purrazzo. This will be a good match. Like,
yep,
great for. They're both great technical wrestlers. Deonna Purrazzo will be able to greatly showcase what she's really capable of on a pay-per-view stage here.
Yep.
Got nothing bad to say about this match. This is one of my to be honest, most of this card I'm really excited for, and this match is one of the reasons.
Yeah.
Another reason is next on the list. Eddie motherfucking Kingston.
Yep.
Versus Bryan Danielson.
That's going to be an epic, innit? That'll go on for a good while.
Also, there's the added stipulation that if Eddie wins, Danielson has to shake his hand. Because Eddie Kingston is the king of pettiness.
Next up is Will Ospreay and Konosuke Takeshita.
This will be a surprise hit.
Yeah, this will be great when you think about it, because have these guys worked each other before in JPW?
I'm not too sure, but with the lackluster build up to this makes this a bit of a dark horse, but this will surprise a lot of people.
That'll be great, I think. It will be great.
Yeah.
Followed by
the father of the year himself, Christian Cage versus Daniel Garcia. Daniel Garcia's had a bright shift in character now. So when he first started, he was just kind of a technical wrestler, which is good, but it doesn't set him apart from a lot of people. Now he's developed this dancing gimmick, which, as silly as it is, it's entertaining, and we love it. So I think this is going to be a good point for Garcia to prove that he does deserve to be in with the best.
For sure.
So it could go either way, but I have faith that the two of them can put something special together.
Yeah, I think it'll work. They'll make it work.
Yeah. FTR versus Blackpool Combat Club. I don't think we need to say anything about that.
Nah,
this is going to be a good match.
Yeah, it's going to be good. You know it'll be good. You're never in for a bad one if FTR involved, in my opinion.
Is it just me, or does see FTR bald? Dax? Does he not look a bit like...
FTR bald?
Aye. You don't think he looks a bit like Arn Anderson?
I'll give you that. Aye, looks like a fucking midget Arn Anderson.
FTR bald.
FTR bald, that's fucking funny.
And then
I don't even want to fucking talk about this next one.
The scramble match.
What the fuck is what the fuck is going on? Like, Chris Jericho, Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs, Lance Archer, Hook, Brian Cage, who the fuck is Magnus? I don't even know. And Dante Martin. What the fuck's this for?
A future AEW World Championship match.
What? So, what? Like,
see if you want to...
Is that just a mad fucking throw together of fucking... Who the fuck is Magnus?
I don't know. I really don't know.
No, I don't like that match. I think that's just... That, to me, it's like, just fucking throw some people in a match and make it for a future AEW World Championship.
I think this kind of shows a major weakness in Tony Khan's booking.
Yeah.
I don't think he knows how to book a monster.
Yeah.
You've got these big bags of meat.
Yep.
Powerhouse Hobbs, Wardlow, Lance Archer. If they are going to win an AEW championship opportunity, it shouldn't be in a fucking scramble match. They should be destroying, running roughshod through half the roster till the champion can't ignore them anymore.
I mean, it's like this. Like, I would quite happily scrap that match, right?
Yeah. And
just give me like another singles match, or honestly, even just give me another fucking tag match. Give me fucking
anything.
Give me anything. I know. I just don't understand. I don't understand why Jericho's in it.
Because Jericho needs to be involved somehow.
I know. I just don't understand why.
I'm just
where all these Lance Archers? What the fuck? He doesn't do much. He's fucking.
Wardlow is damaged goods at this point. There was one point where he was one of the most popular stars in AEW.
Uh-huh.
And they botched it big time.
Yep.
There's
Same with fucking Brian Cage. Get him to fuck.
you,
Get him
you
to
really
fuck,
don't like
man.
Brian Cage,
I really
do you?
don't like Brian Cage. Nah, I don't.
Is
Man.
there a particular reason, or is it just
I just fuck. I don't know. It's just if something about him, I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't get the idea that he fucking fully likes himself. I don't get the. I don't get the.
you
I
think
don't
he has
get-
no self-respect?
I don't know. I just don't. I don't get the impression that he fucking genuinely is like. Oh, this is going to sound so wanky, but I don't think he's like a proper wrestling fan. And I'll probably eat my words. He's probably a bigger wrestling fan than me, but I just don't get the idea. I don't know. No, see, to be honest, when I think about it, it's the fucking gimmick. He's trying to get by. He's trying to get by on just being a big muscly cunt. There's no fucking grey matter between his fucking skull. It's like, there's nothing going. Do you know what I mean? Has he not been coming out with face paint and all that recently? You know?
I don't get the face paint.
Get that to fuck.
Yeah.
You're a big enough monster guy. Now let's find something that suits your big monster guy persona. I just don't get. Same with Lance Archer. No, I don't get that cunt either.
I actually liked Lance Archer's gimmick. See, when he had Jake Roberts by his side, and there was kind of like this whole chaos incarnate around him. I got that, but they've failed to capitalise on it whatsoever. And he's the same as Waddle. Like, he's just kind of been drifting through.
Yeah.
And Powerhouse Hobbs, to be honest. Hobbs, I think he could be one of the biggest faces in AEW history.
Hobbs could be great, and I think again to touch on Hook as well. I think Hook has been grossly kind of misbooked. Like the whole program and stuff with Samoa Joe recently was a bit fucking iffy. Like out of nowhere, it's just like he's getting a title shot, and then it's. I think there needs to be Hook needs to be booked in a way that we can see more development on his kind of character and on his wrestling style, because right now, even for the last year and a bit, it's just been kind of lost. It's like, oh, throw him with Jungle Boy, okay, throw him with Danhausen, cool, okay, throw him in this scramble match, cool. Who else is going to scramble match? Or everybody else that we don't have a clue what to do with, but is decent.
They don't have a clue on how to show him off as himself. He always has to be part of a package deal.
Yeah, so why can't all these guys... But again, is it just because the roster's too big? It's like, fuck, the roster's so big and we still want to have all these guys involved, right? Just throw them in this big fuck-off match.
The roster really needs to be trimmed.
Yeah.
I hate to say it because, like, obviously people are going to lose their jobs and everything, but I just don't see the point in, like, buying these wrestlers into this company, like, paying them to just sit on the couch.
Yeah, it's fucking...
And it's just... There's a lot of people in this match that should be doing better at this very moment. And instead, Jericho's probably going to win it and I'm over him. Like,
yeah, it's...
just fucking Play-Doh at this point.
Anyhow,
and
enough of our fucking negativity on on the scramble match. The main reason why we're here, the main reason why we're going to watch is obviously Sting and Darby Allin versus the Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson.
So we were both right on two different reasons about this match.
Yep.
So in our first podcast, I predicted that Ric Flair would be involved somehow.
Yes.
And he's managing.
He's already been somewhat involved with the most recent fucking action that he had going on Dynamite.
And you were right about the Young Bucks gimmick change. This is fucking brilliant, this stuff.
What they're doing?
Yeah, them playing up the EVP role.
I like it. Yeah, I like it. I think it's way better than what they were doing. I think it's definitely more what I want to see.
Yeah.
Because I didn't like them before. And watching them the other night, I was like, yeah, this is good. Keep doing this. And it really does. It adds more realism to it.
Mm-hmm.
That you can obviously still tell that what they're doing is fucking... you can still tell what they're doing is like pretty character based and it's entertainment and stuff like that. But I mean, like in terms of like they actually are the EVPs, so they're just extending that on and becoming this, and it makes you want to cheer for fucking Sting and Darby a bit more. Yeah,
and that thing you mentioned where they attacked Flair the other night.
Yeah,
it adds a personal element to the match because like the history they two have had together. I'm just worried about one thing about this match.
What's that? Ric Flair dying in the ring?
I don't give a fuck about that. I care more about who the referee is going to be.
Okay.
Because if it's that fucking Rick Knox, I am going to be fucking terrified this whole time. The amount of times someone has been hurt when this fucking fud is refereeing a match and he doesn't even bother to check up or throw up an X is fucking disgusting, by the way. So, apart from that, if he doesn't show up, I can just relax and be like, yeah, it's Sting. Like, farewell. But if he shows up, I'm going to be a bit more on the cautious side because I do not want a repeat of the WWE career ending.
Nah, fuck
where
that.
he's just fucking broke in the ring.
Well, at least we know this time that this actually is going to be his last match. So if he does get injured, no, you just don't want it to go wrong though. I guess that's the thing. You don't want it to be like cut short because he's injured.
I just care that, well, obviously, and it's not like it matters in the grand scheme of things, but I care that these guys are going to get out okay. And see if Rick Knox just done his fucking job, I wouldn't be complaining about it.
Yeah.
But it's just his history and like the fucking people that have been injured before.
Aye.
I'm worried.
Well, hopefully it won't be him.
Yeah.
Do you think the match will be good though?
Oh, the match will be great.
Yeah.
Sting, as we said, like it seems like he's just fucking de-aged somehow.
I think there's going to be some big spots. I think they're going to knowing what these guys have done in the past. I think they're definitely going to try and push the barrier on this and do some big bits and just be like, right, this is the last one.
Yeah.
Let's fucking send the people home happy. Let's make sure we get everything that Sting wants to do in this.
I think it's been. You couldn't have asked for a more perfect send off for him. I think.
Yeah.
He's had Great Muta involved with AEW. He's got Nate by his side, which personal opinions aside, it's good because like Ric Flair has. He's. I mean, I think he even said himself if it wasn't for Ric Flair, like he doesn't think he would be at the level he is. So it's nice for him to have Ric Flair by his side and Darby Allin. Like we said, I think he's learned just as much from Darby as Darby has learned from him. Yeah. And that's the age is just a number. But regardless, it's going to be an emotional match.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. And I think this is there's no better way for him to finish what has been a fantastic career all around. He's seen it all. He's pretty much done it all.
Definitely. So, he's wrestled for longer than we've been alive.
And you want to know? That's what makes him the icon.
Yes. The one and only. I have nothing else to say.
Love your Sting.
But yeah, if you listen to all that, thanks. Appreciate your ears for the 1 hour and 37 minutes.
It does mean a lot. Like, this has been a lot of fun for us to do as well, and like we hope you have as much fun as we do with these podcasts. So, yeah, thank you for your time.
Thank you. See you later. Bye bye.
Bye bye.